Is the next crypto pump just right around the corner? Well, I think the next crypto pump is actually here right now. If you guys have actually been paying attention to my videos earlier this week up till now, you guys would probably see that this is no surprise because I've been talking about this falling wedge pattern before it even developed, right? Before we even had this fully developed falling wedge pattern, and now it's actually look like it's breaking out here. We're seeing something that's kind of not normal right now because right here Pacific Standard Time, it is still 9 a.m. ish, and we're already seeing quite a bit of movements. Even yesterday, Saturday, right? Let's take a look into daily time frame here. Saturday volume, that was not normal Saturday volume here, even for this little tight candle here. So that tells me something is up. Okay, if we actually compare this daily volume Saturday with previous Saturdays here, okay, it was huge volume. Okay, so something was up, right? And falling wedges tend to break to the upside here, and we have what it looks like a breakout right now happening right now on this hourly time frame. Okay, now price target for this breakout for Bitcoin is going to be about 100 above 126K here. Now, price targets are estimates only. It could be more, it could be less, right? But right now, that is what I'm looking at. And why is this important for the altcoins? Because Bitcoin is still the driver of this market. If Bitcoin pumps, still very good for the altcoins because it is bringing in new money into the market. Now, we're going to be talking about some altcoins later in this video as well, which will include the meme coins, Brett. We're going to be talking about Popcats. We're going to be talking about Turbo. See what's going on with these markets. What are their trading patterns and price targets for the near-term future? Of course, also just got to be paying attention to Bitcoin right now because this is going to be leading the markets, right? Looking like this is the hourly time frame, this breakout here, right? And we have a break. That top trend line was at about just right underneath 119K. Of course, even though this candle looks euphoric, right? It looks crazy, like it's going to do something crazy. I would still consider the downside as well because for even though it looks like it is a highly probable breakout here, there's still a small chance it could still be a flop. Okay, I will be taking profits along the way, right, as this thing goes up, and I will be using those profits to buy the dips. Okay, some of those profits to buy back at the dips so I can compound my profits. I hope you guys have some sort of plan to do that as well as this bull cycle goes on because nothing lasts forever. Pumps, dumps, sideways. All right, we're also going to be taking a look into some news, major crypto news that I think it could really affect the markets, either short term or longer term. Of course, we have the FOMC meeting that's coming up July 30th. That's going to be also very important. All right, let's take a look into some major crypto news here first before diving into the altcoin charts. It's usually going to be about the 10-minute mark. If you guys want to look for the altcoins, I highly recommend you guys don't skip through because Bitcoin is still very important to be paying attention to, even though its dominance is decreasing. All right, now Bitcoin News BTC. This is by News BTC. Bitcoin bulls gain traction from ideal long zone. So I think the ideal long zone or the support that I said I would be paying attention to is the daily 21 SMA, right? It hasn't touched down to that moving average since the breakout of that 110K level. In my opinion, of course, this video is just my opinion, not financial advice. We're still very early in this bull cycle because one, Bitcoin just broke that 110K level about 2 weeks ago, so we're not too far from there. Two, the monthly RSI reading is still far from the FOMO levels. Okay, even though I am still seeing bearish divergence on the monthly RSI. There has been exceptions, namely in the previous huge breakouts in 2020, in December 2020 and October 2017. Okay, so let's see if this would be the exception here, that the bulls continue pushing through. Now, two scenarios for the week ahead. I'm not going to get too much into this news here. If you guys want to read it, it's going to be in TradingView. I do have an affiliate link in the description section below. I will get a commission if you guys sign up using my link. But we do have quite a bit going on this week. The big one is, of course, the FOMC meeting. Going to be very much paying attention to what Powell says. What I'm seeing for the Fed Watch tool is that we actually have an increase in the probability of a rate cut for September. I think for July is basically sealed. We're not going to get a rate cut, so I think the market has already priced that in. But for September is going to be the big one. I am seeing a fluctuation of probabilities between about that 60% range, but right now it has increased from about 50 something percent at the high 50s. Okay. All right, let's go ahead and so that's gonna be one of the major events I'll be paying attention to. I'm not gonna be over leveraged, that's for sure. I will not get into any additional leverage positions until probably at least the FOMC meeting is over. Okay, because I will still expect some type of volatility. Okay. All right. Let's take a look here. This next one is going to be by Crypto Potato. Bitcoin takes a backseat as investors rotate capital to Ethereum and altcoins. This is by the Crypto Quant. Yeah, we're seeing that right now. Bitcoin dominance is still rolling over, and I would expect that to happen as the bull cycle continues. From what I've seen from last bull cycle back in 2021, I'm seeing very similar things. Okay, Ethereum is on fire. As you guys can see, both Ethereum and Total 3 is already up ahead of Bitcoin. Yes, so I do think basically the investors are rotating their money into riskier assets, which are the altcoins. So I am expecting the altcoins to go pretty crazy soon, if not already. Next one here is gonna be by News BTC. Bitcoin endures one of the most intense bear weeks of this bull cycle. And details. Yeah, I thought last week was, it was not that intense. I would probably still expect some pretty intense bear weeks coming up, as I have seen from 2021. I mean, it's not going to be up only. There are going to be dips. There are going to be pullbacks where, you're going to question if this bull cycle is still on. I've seen that. And this time around, I'm not going to be, you know, panicking as much. So yeah. All right, next is going to be by News BTC. Bitcoin price could still tumble down to 109K. This chart pattern suggests so. There are still some mixed signals in the markets, right? Including the monthly RSI reading. I think that's the big one. But like I said, there has been exceptions. Namely back in major bull cycle breakouts, 109K. I mean, yeah, it's in the cards, but I think that's probably very low probability right now. Okay, especially after this breakout, and especially if this breakout continues, of course. All right, let's let TradingView load the next piece here. Okay, it's not gonna load, so we're just gonna move on to the charts here. Okay, Bitcoin right now still trying to solidify this breakout, right? Breakout trading is riskier in my opinion, because there's gonna be quite a bit of volatility. I mean, there's gonna be fake outs that could happen. Um, I mean, just because you see price action breaking out does not mean that it's 100% gonna get to its price target. I'm just gonna be realistic with you guys, okay? Just from a trader's perspective, I'm not gonna be a perma bull or perma bear. But it's just something I've seen along my journey in trading for the last 5 plus years. Even though it looks like something is going to be, you know, having a huge upside, I still take into consideration of the possible downsides, right? Of course, if this hourly candle starts breaking back into the pattern, that basically that is going to spoil the party, right? And that could change my opinion. Now let's go ahead and go to Brett. That is going to be the first coin we're going to be talking about. As this bull cycle goes on, I am long on quite a bit of altcoins right now, right? I am long on Bitcoin, and I am still going to be putting most of my money in altcoins because that's going to have the higher upside. It's going to come with higher risk, but I think as this bull cycle goes on, before the peak or even slightly after the peak, I think that is the time to take the risk, right, on these altcoins. But that is just me, not financial advice. Um, Next, we're gonna have Brett here. What is Brett doing right now? In my opinion, it hasn't really moved like some of the other altcoins. Okay, let's take a look. Weekly time frame, 3-day time frame actually, where this pattern is more validated. This is a falling wedge pattern. Broke out of this pattern quite some time ago in February. It has not really done too much. Price target for this pattern is just going to be about just right underneath 17 cents here. Brett has hit a resistance back at about 9 cents before getting a rejection, and right now it's looking like a rounded bottom, which tells me that it is still on an uptrend, right? Could it get to that price target in the short term? Something to be considering, okay? It is so let's take a look into a smaller time frame and see if I can get any more clarity on what Brett could be doing. Okay, this is somewhat of a double bottom pattern here on this 4-hour time frame with bullish divergence. Double bottoms usually break to the upside. Okay, in this case, it's looking like it's trying to break to the upside here. With the neckline, it's basically at the neckline of this double bottom pattern here, which is about 6 cents. Okay, price target for this double bottom pattern, it's about 6.6 cents, so about a 10% move here. So let's see if Brett could reach this price target in the short term and continue towards that bigger price target. Let's take a look into Popcat and see what's going on with this coin. All right, Popcat here. Weekly time frame. Let's come down to the lower time frame here where I can get a more clear view of this falling wedge pattern. Okay, daily time frame. Falling wedge pattern. It's going to be a pattern you guys definitely want to train your eyes to see, especially if you guys are new. It tells you after an extensive downtrend that the price action is likely to be breaking to the upside. And as we have seen, these patterns have been breaking to the upside from Bitcoin, from a lot of other altcoins I've talked about. Okay. And this broke to the upside. Okay, hasn't done too much. Price target is gonna be about $1.20. And this just on the short term. Okay, of course, a lot of this is gonna depend on what Bitcoin does. If Bitcoin continues pumping, that is gonna be good for the altcoins, or at least if it does not dump. Right. Now let's take a look into a smaller time frame and see if I can get any more clarity on what Popcat's doing. Double bottom pattern again, 4-hour time frame. This one has already gone off. Okay, so we're gonna be looking for the next pattern here. It looks like it could form some type of a cup and handle here if it comes back to retest this 49 cents resistance level, as you guys can see. So that is still hypothetical. If you guys want to continue seeing more of Popcat or Brett or Turbo or any other altcoins, make sure to drop a like, comment, and subscribe. Give me a request. I'll pick a request to do for you guys on a daily basis. All right, so still hypothetical, not established yet. It could form a cup and handle pattern, which is still bullish, something to be paying attention to, because this is still a rounded bottom on this 4-hour time frame. If this rounded bottom breaks, then we could be looking at something else. All right, let's take a look into Turbo here and see what's going on in this market. All right, for Turbo, this is the weekly time frame. And we have, if we actually zoom in, I could probably see more of a validated falling wedge pattern. Actually, the 12-hour time frame, right? 12-hour time frame, falling wedge pattern. Okay, I don't have exactly 3 candles touching on the bottom trend line, but I think it's close enough. And this is a falling wedge that has broken to the upside again. Like I said, very common pattern to be looking for. This is the 12-hour time frame, and this has already broken to the upside. Turbo has met more than its price target, right? As you guys can see, and the falling wedge continues, right? Has also broken out of this next one here. Price target is going to be about 0.68 cents price target. Now, these are the smaller patterns. Let's go ahead and take a look into the bigger pattern here, which is this. Which is this huge pattern right here, the falling wedge, that the bigger one here, that has formed since back in December of last year, okay? Broke out and looks like it was going to be a fake out because the price action just kept gliding along this upward trend line, which validates this upward trend line here, and this breakout still valid, okay, since just the entirety of this year. And the price target for this one is still valid. It's going to be just right above 10 cents for Turbo. So that is the bigger pattern in play, and we have some smaller patterns that are in play right now, including this one. So let's see if Turbo will continue towards that bigger price target. Now, this basically wraps it up for this video. For these coins, make sure to drop a like, comment, subscribe. Letting me know if you guys want to continue seeing more of these coins. And I'll see you guys on the next one.